Okie dokie, Calistocally Boakley. We are here for Depths of Gaming, episode 49.
Greetings, comrades! How are you today?
49.
Everything good?
Everything is fantastic.
Good.
Not so much in the world of gaming right now. It really is the depths of fucking gaming now. Like, I was trying to be grimdark and edgy when I made up the title, but now that everything has become so shit.
Yeah, Konami is making everything worse.
Yeah, Konami and all that. Quick side note though is League of Legends is making it so you can see the loot box odds.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you have to disclose the odds of your loot boxes if you operate in certain countries now.
That's what China did.
Right, and because they operate heavily in China, that means all of the regions they're rolling that over is because China did it, everyone else has to do it essentially.
Yeah, it basically it does not calculate for them to make two versions of the game. One
Right.
with the percentages shown and one without, so they just waving their hand at it and saying, "Okay, let's put it up for everyone."
Yeah, so we can thank China for that.
Speaking about the loot boxes, I've recently seen the. I believe his name is Christopher Lee. He's the senator of the state of Hawaii. He was basically questioning ESA's legislators about the entire loot box thing, and for the most part, they were incapable of answering him even the most basics of questions like, does the ESA regulate loot boxes and gambling mechanics? And I cannot answer that. That was all that they could say.
By the way, you're right. I was looking it up because I was like, Christopher Lee is dead, but no, Representative Chris Lee. That's because those are probably the two most generic American names now, is Chris and Lee, and they just jammed them together to form a person.
Yay! So yeah, he's doing an awesome job.
That's good.
For
I
all
think
of our
it's great.
Us gamers. Yeah.
Because the more countries and regions that pass this kind of legislation, it forces their hand, because people are under the assumption...
Yeah, just like League of Legends, right? Because 90% of their market or 80% of their market is in China.
Yeah.
They have to disclose it, so they just wave their hand and put it up for everyone.
People are under the impression that it's impossible to stop them from doing these kinds of things. Well, no, but we can make them change their course.
Yeah, we can make it as annoying for them as they make loot boxes annoying for us. With all that nagging. Here, have a shop. Here, buy something. Here, have some bonuses that you can spend in a shop.
Because the same people that go, oh, change, that never happens, they're the same people that boycotted EA when the Battlefront 2 thing happened.
Mm-hmm.
Boycotted
you cannot stop
a
boycott.
No.
Yeah, Battlefront 2 was so bad for EA that Disney is trying to leverage up some kind of clause in their contract with EA to basically say, listen, you fucked our franchise, we are going to take it to someone else now.
Yeah, they're starting to shop around because EA was not the right choice to give that license to. They should not, because here's the thing, is they desperately wanted a multiplayer game for Star Wars, and EA tried to make that game, and they failed.
No, they didn't. They made a wonderful game. They
it's a
put
generic
so much
shooter.
monetizing. Yeah, but the gameplay is responsive, right? And that's about it, right? And all they did, all they had to do was to put it out. But they just had to put all the microtransactions bullshit on top of that. I'm buying a full game. I'm paying $60 for it. I should not be forced to continue paying for it. Right? That's basically what people were pissed off about. And that this is what broke the franchise. And now Disney is moving out. And to be fair, the studios Disney is looking at are no better. They're looking at Ubisoft.
Oh no.
Ubisoft and Activision mostly.
So we had this bad experience with the company that was pushing microtransactions and loot boxes. Let's go to Ubisoft.
Yeah, to be fair, since Ubisoft and Activision saw what happened, they will try to avoid the same pitfalls and make a game without those microtransactions and basically games as services for the next Star Wars game. But that's as far as I'm willing to basically go. That's the peak of my optimism for it.
What they need to do is make the bigger, better, actionier Knights of the Old Republic game.
Yeah, I totally agree. Maybe a single-player game.
Because if they can deliver on something like that, they'll win people back. Because they're starting to start this new trilogy now. Because they're ending what they're doing with the Mark Hamill show.
Yeah.
So we will see on that. But moving on
to our first story tonight.
Konami has decided that it is against the rules to seek a relationship or act that they determine is made for the main purpose of causing a relationship, including relationships, acts of socializing limited to within the content. So
you cannot make friends in Metal Gear Survive.
No.
You
According
cannot make,
to this clause,
you cannot find.
Yeah, you're right. According to this clause, you are not allowed to get randomly matched with someone and have any kind of positive or negative experience with them, because that would be socializing. Thus, against the rules.
Indeed. No romantic relationships, no friend relationships, no... even you cannot even make enemies. That's against the rules.
Nope. If someone pisses you off, you have to remain perfectly Swiss and not give a shit.
Which and basically they can decide after the fact whether or not your interactions were invalidation and decide on their own. So it's completely out of your control. As a side note, they're doing more. Not just that, but they're also making things. They're basically chopping up Metal Gear Survive into little pieces, and then trying to sell them to you one by one, like the save slots or weapon loadouts. There are special teams that you can have that you also have to buy for 1,000 for basically $10 that you can send off into the world to do their own thing, and that action, sending them on a mission, that can reward you with items that you cannot get in any other way.
Yep. So
it's directly so the progression of the game is directly linked to microtransactions.
Yep. It's just not worth it.
So basically, Metal Gear Survive is pachinko games, just on the internet, just multiplayer.
Because that's what they do. They build gambling software. So it shouldn't surprise anyone that that after they got rid of their main golden boy, all of a sudden they've gone to the dark side and focusing on gambling and microtransactions.
Yeah, I'm pretty much sure that they long ago, even before Kojima left, they long ago just gave up on games at all.
Well, that's part of why he left.
Yeah.
He literally put a mission in 5 where you rescue him. Trust me, this was a long time coming.
Duh. It's a shame because there's so much potential in all the IPs that Konami holds, and now all that's going to be done with them is pachinko games, and basically microtransactions appaloozas. It's sad to look at what's happening to the gaming industry. It's disappointing. It's sad. I'm not even angry anymore.
Speaking of disappointing and sad, a Republican representative has decided that he has plans for new legislation that will levy additional 10% taxes on video games rated mature and higher. The money will go towards funding towards counseling, mental health programs, and other conflict resolution activities for students. This is right after the shooting in Parkland, Florida.
Yay for socialism!
Yeah, that's socialism.
Yeah,
which of course is okay when the Republicans do it.
Yeah, Yeah, I wanted to say from the Republican Party, no less.
Yeah.
So, listen, I'm all for it.
Yeah, me too.
I would love to put a tax on all video games. And basically forward that money to maybe not. I would like to forward that money to voice actors because I think that they are completely treated like shit by the industry.
Yeah.
Because I already know that video game violence has nothing to do with real world violence, and the idea of putting that money towards what did he want? He wants psychological help.
Now, to be fair, this has been a thing for some time. It's called a sin tax, where a religious organization or the Republicans, well, they're the same thing.
Oh, and that guy looks like a newborn Christian.
Oh yeah,
let's put that out there.
That's a born again right there. Oh yeah, he loves the Lord. Though he is apparently speaking at some kind of Native American event, which is points for him.
And let's basically say that Mr. Robert Nardolio the third. Am I saying that right?
I have no idea if the L's are silent. Because I've been saying Nardolilo, but...
Nardolilo, yeah.
But it could easily be Nardolio. It could be totally silent.
It sounds like a porn name.
But that's a porn name, but that's not as bad as another Florida or another lawmaker that tried to do this, William Fourkiller, in 2012.
Yeah, with a name like that, it's basically like saying that electing Lord Blackthorn as your leader. How do you trust people? Or Lex Luthor? How does all those villains manage to get to the top of the popularity polls?
Now introducing,
I just don't know.
Introducing the president, Captain
Lord kill you all.
Voss Cramthorn. And they're like, is that his real name? No. No, it is not. He changed it.
Frederick von kill you all.
Frederick von Sleal. But yeah, I cannot take their name seriously. It's a 10% tax. Syntax, yes. But you know what? Games are too fucking cheap. They're too cheap. And
why are they too cheap?
They're just too cheap for the amount of time that people spend on them. They're too cheap for that.
Oh! So if a game company could spend less time on a game, so that to make it cheaper, it would be better, right? More profit, because Witcher 3 exists.
No, I am saying that
games are not too cheap.
By raising the tax rate on video games. Like, I'm in California. I don't pay any additional shit for my games on Steam. I just pay what it says. And it's amazing. But...
Well, wait, what? I always pay what it says. Oh, right, you're in America.
They What?
Nothing. Because here in Europe, we have the tax already included in the price. So we don't have to worry about it. Never.
Oh my god. See, what the fuck? Why don't we do that?
Because if you do that, then it appears like you're paying more. Right? So you are more stingy with your cash. If the price is lower and that tax price is just floating off in the virtual space, you don't really notice that. You just see the flat out what's on the little sticker.
Yeah, I know it's a conspiracy by the deep state to turn the flesh.
It's not by the state. It's by the retailers.
No, I know. I'm fucking with you.
Yeah, they want to show you as low a price as possible. They also give you that 99 cents so that you think about the price in terms of 1 cent increments instead of $1 or $10 increments.
Yeah. I know how it works in my own country. Thank you. Trust me, when you hang around convenience stores long enough, you learn that.
Well, you might know that, but many of our viewers might not.
All 0 of them.
Well, I'm sure all 0 of them appreciate it.
They better. This is for their benefit.
Yep. We are making a world a better place.
One moment at a time. So, Funcom is working on a Stalker game. Probably an MMO. One.
I can't wait to visit the world of Pripyat again.
Because at first we weren't entirely sure. It looked like it, but we weren't entirely sure. Now they have one of the characters that flat out says, Stalkers don't get happy endings. They get to be dinner for zone wolves. And that's just, well, what game do you think this is? That's kind of the evidence. Cool, because Funcom is finishing up with Conan Exiles. It's more or less done. They're just balancing it right now. And they also did The Secret World, which was an okay game.
I like the premise of The Secret World.
I like the premise, but the game, like, no matter what, I can't get past the first, like, world. I get just so tired out. Like
Yeah, it's very grindy, the game. It's incredibly grindy.
and they even made it less grindy, but it still was too fucking grindy for me.
Yeah, I like the idea of basically taking all of those conspiracy theories and putting them into one world, where you see all of them interact with each other. And I love the fact that in all of the instances, whenever someone's trying to combine all of the conspiracy theories, no one includes flat Earth.
No, that's never in there.
It's just so fun to me.
Yeah, why can't we have a conspiracy movie that focuses on the dumb ones?
Yeah.
like that vaccines cause mega autism, or that there's like zombie flu in the water, or that
or that they're putting chemicals into the air that turn the frogs gay.
No, that's true. No, it's true. Alex Jones did a report on it. It's true.
Of course it's true. Everything Alex Jones says is true.
Absolutely. Da da. We're fucking with you, by the way. So.
No.
I'm just saying is before the angry mob turns the corner, I want them to know I don't mean it. Or do I? Stalkers don't get happy endings, so I'm maybe that means we get to make like our own stalker character and go out into like this giant MMO world. That would be cool. I hope they don't fuck that up.
Well, it's basically if you would cross Destiny with the Stalker games. Does that make sense? Does that?
Well, they already have like a very hard survival game in Conan Exiles, which is a lot of the same premise. Is that you're in a very unforgiving land, and you have to make do with what you can to survive. Where in Stalker, the focus is going to be on like hunting and gathering guns. So I'm hoping it's going to be a more action oriented experience.
Well, yeah, that's true. However, because a very important element to the Stalker games is the horror and the atmosphere.
Right.
And I'm afraid that's going to be lost in a multiplayer game because you're not going to be alone. You're not going to be like careful about what's behind the corner.
That's
I don't know.
Not true. Because when you have a big enough world and few enough players, it's not as many people around as you think.
So basically, should they bank on an MMO, massive multiplayer online game, to have few players?
No, it's a server based thing. Like in Exiles, they have a bunch of servers. It's like I think it's like 40 to 50 players or something like that. It's enough players where there's a lot of people in it, but the map is big enough where you don't bump into them all the time.
Wouldn't that make the... they would need to also populate the map with a lot of like things and basically objects, give life, because otherwise it's going to be just boring wasteland, right?
So trust me, there are animals trying to rip your dick off everywhere.
Oh, I know, but it's not just about animals, but also there needs to be a variety in the world for it to feel alive, and it needs that, right? Because it's not the same thing to have basically have a map and just stretch it. stretches into its unimaginable size.
Have you even seen the game map? That's not how maps are made, and you know it.
Well, I know I'm not saying like physically, right? It's
No, well, they're like zones. You see, like they have a giant corrupted city. They have a lower like Nile where a lot of the new players are. They have the kind of middle wasteland where a lot of the late game stuff is, and basically from there, the further north you go, the tougher shit gets. Like there is.
okay. Mm-hmm.
Like I think I get what you're saying, but
There needs to be content in between all those points of interest.
There
right?
is content. There are
okay. Okay then. I understand because it basically I know that it's very hard to create like unique content for all those places to basically make it like worthwhile, right? Because if you make a big map and you only have few points in between, then it's like you're basically inflating it. You have some content and then a lot of nothing in between.
Well, that was Mad
You
Max's
understand,
problem.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, any of you played Mad Max? That's basically what that game was. Is they had this huge map with a bunch of points scattered around very far away from each other. So it was just a lot of empty road.
Yeah, and they basically populated that map with a lot of like findables, right?
Yeah.
Like towers and so on. But they were all just the same tower copied over and over and over again.
Right. And the forts were really easy. Like it's amazing how much of that Mad Max game was spent on foot.
Yeah, Far Cry had the same similar problem at least. It was also a relatively big map, and all you really did there was go from fort to fort. Yeah.
That's what the majority of Far Cry 2 was just driving around in the jungle.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun game, though.
Let's hope that they manage to fix that.
I mean, we've seen enough games with giant ass maps that hopefully we know what not to do now. Because I look at Exile's map and there's a lot to do. There's a bunch of caves that are mini explorable areas. They're the large camps of NPCs that that you can capture in order to get late game information. There's apparently going to be another area that's like a fucking jungle with angry tigers in it. So this team is aware of what makes an interesting multiplayer map. At least for a survival game or an MMO rather, because they've done this a lot. Because they made Age of Conan as well. You know, that game that kind of died horribly. Moving on to a answer that nobody wanted. Are you excited, Jaheith?
Well, do I have any other choice?
No. Otherwise, the bomb will go off.
Yay! I'm so happy!
So I'm the DM of a perfect stable group of my friends. We have been enjoying D&D for a year now. Half a year Pathfinder, half a year 5e. And there are no signs that we're going to stop or choose an accent. Anytime I decided to play some games at the local store, I was wavering and gave up. Just to bring something new to our campaign. And the store owner asked me whether I wanted to DM Adventure League or not. Are there reasons I might want to?
So, I live in Europe. I
Right.
do not have Adventure League. What is Adventure League?
Not at all?
Not really, no.
Well, Adventure League is the initiative set forth to have like organized play in game stores.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll have people run sets of modules according to what season it is. They'll have a main like adventure, and then they'll write a bunch of adventures written around that area for Adventure League. Because you can also run the main module in Adventure League, but there's also a bunch of mini adventures that you can run.
Ah, splendid. And I'm assuming that you can move your character from session to session?
Yes,
and
because
sessions...
you get a log number with their website, and the DM has a log number and everything, so it gets loosely tracked.
I see.
You're allowed to bring that sheet in and earn rewards over time and such. The other thing you can do is if you're DMing, there are like quests that you can complete that are just like milestones essentially, and they allow you to get a bunch of rewards for your character so that you don't have to start at level 1 and you get some cool items. They the main thing with the DM rewards is they allow you to play stuff that you typically can't play in Adventure League. Like I'm pretty sure there's one that lets you play Arakakra, and there's one that lets you play a winged tiefling, because you're typically not allowed to have a fly speed at level 1.
Oh, I see. So basically, the Adventure League games allow you to do things that homebrew games cannot do not allow for.
Other way around.
Yes. Okay, so the homebrew games allow you to do things that Adventure League games do not allow you to do.
Yes.
Okay. I would assuming that since they are official, they are a little bit more restrictive and
yeah, they
and
have
strict.
they have more rules. There are a bunch of rules that you have to abide by, but for the most part, they're just kind of limitations to keep people honest and polite. Like that's the whole goal of their code of conduct is they're trying to keep everyone polite and happy. That's why I'm pretty sure they still outright ban evil characters.
I see.
Actually, no. I think if you pick Zentarum as your faction, I think you're allowed to be evil, but otherwise you're not allowed to be evil.
Makes sense.
Well, it's because people think evil means genocidal maniac when it doesn't.
No, evil can be subtle. Evil characters can do good deeds in order to hide their evil nature. There is such a thing as acting. And playing evil character is like acting an actor. Which is very weird.
Yeah.
And some people get lost with that.
So I'd recommend doing it if you've been offered, because Adventure League, as a DM, you're going to meet a lot of people. You're going to make a lot of new friends. You're going to build a reputation. You're going to get a better understanding of the game, because they're all going to play weird-ass characters.
To be fair, if you are an introvert, that might not be a good idea.
I think it's great.
Well, not if you're an introvert.
I am an introvert.
Introverts lose social energy when they are amongst people.
No, that's called something different.
No, that's introverts.
No, an introvert.
Extroverts gain energy from social interactions.
What? I don't think that's what that means. I've never heard it defined that way before.
Well, I'm not defining it. It's one of the aspects of being an introvert.
Huh.
I heard it described as when you are amongst other people, for the introvert is like diving underneath the water. They can hold their breath, but eventually they have to recharge by doing introvert stuff, like playing video games, reading books, basically maybe writing something, staying basically isolated from other people. That's when they recharge. Extroverts can do the same things as well. However, for them, that's like holding their breath, and they recharge when they are in the group.
I see. For all your life advice, go to Jahith, for he is
Or
a
he
doctor.
knows. Listen, if you don't believe me, you can check until the next show.
If I look this up on Wikipedia, and there's one word there that you haven't said, I'm going to sue you, Jahith.
Oh
for
no!
For wrongful medical conduct. You're going to lose your license.
I am shivering in fear.
That's real Polish fear.
Yeah, please come here. Come hither. If you want, I can take your car as well.
I'm pretty sure that's how the Nazis lost that war.
We stole all their cars.
No, from them overextending into Poland.
They overextended into Russia.
All right, well that's our show. Unless you want to add anything to this guy's answer.
Nah. As far as I go, if he wants to, that's a good idea, because you get perks, you get experience, and as far as I'm concerned, that's a lot that this can do. However, I don't know. Is being Adventure League DM like a job? You have to go there. You have to show up.
Well,
I'm assuming yes.
Well, yeah, because you're the DM. You're the person that's on paper as supposed to be there.
Do you get paid?
I don't know. I don't think Games Workshop. I don't think Wizards pays you. I think you work something out with the owner of the store.
Maybe you get discounts on books and figurines. That would be nice.
I think they do hook you up with something.
So yeah, go be a buddy with the store clerk.
Yeah, because you don't really have to deal with Wizards of the Coast that much. You mostly deal with your friendly game store guy.
Yeah, always support your friendly game store guy.
Yeah, buy stuff from them often. And that's our show.
See ya!